Hello, this is Patrick from XPression, and I'd like to introduce you to the XPression Video Coder application for transcoding videos into the XPression Video Coder format. When you install XPression on a system, you also get a couple of additional applications, and one of them is the XPression Video Coder. On the desktop of the computer, you should find an application icon for XPression Video Coder. Double-click it to launch the application. What you'll notice is the application is really split into three main sections or four parts. On the top left side is the source panel. On the top right is the target panel. On the bottom is the job and render queue. On the left is the jobs list. And on the right is the render queue. Let's go back up to the top left for source. Source is the original video material that you're working with. And by default, the XPression Video Coder application will work with any video for Windows file that could be read on your computer, or any QuickTime movie that can be read on your computer. Meaning if you have the codecs installed, then you have QuickTime installed, any of those particular video file formats should work. Same thing with a video for Windows, basically AVI file formats that use a codec that can be read by Windows. So this product works in a jobs-based workflow. So we're going to go and create a new job, and you can either go up to the top to the file menu and click new job, or you can come down to the jobs list and click new job, which is what I'm going to do here. That automatically opens up a video source file, and I'm going to choose one here that's a movie file. It's an MOV, it's an MPEG file. I'm going to double click to launch it. It's a countdown, and what should happen is it should populate the source panel with the video countdown, and there you see it. You can see in the video source information area the file path and the file name of what you're working with, and if there's any alpha information that's provided with it. For example, this is shaped, should be pre-multiplied, but you can also tell it that it's unshaped or to ignore. And when you make that change, you also have the opportunity to come over to the target properties, and you can change the channels from 32-bit to 24-bit or back to decide how you want to handle that. Frame rate should be matching. I'm working with a 2997 video frame rate, and I'm going to tell the system I want to work in progressive fields. That's the way I'm working here. I could also be working in field rate rather than frames, and that would be defaulted to whatever frame rate that you're working with, or field rate, whether it's even or odd as your first. I'm going to be working in progressive. So what you'll see on the left side, again, you see the source information. You can see that I'm working with a 32-bit file. You can see it's 1920 by 1080. The frame rate is 29.97. It's 330 frames, basically 11 seconds, and the aspect ratio is 16 by 9. If I come over to the target area, my frame rate is 29.97. I'm working in a progressive, and my color depth is working in RGB. The output file path is also listed here. If you click on it, you can go ahead and you can change it. By default, it takes whatever the file name is on the source material and changes the extension to .avi. I'm going to leave it like that for now. I'm going to click Save. I'm going to come back down to my jobs list, and I have a button here that will let me send it to render queue. And by the way, I can have multiple jobs here and send them all over at once, or I can just do one job at a time, which is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to click to send to render queue, and that will put it into the render queue, and while it's there, it's waiting for you as the operator of the application to tell it to render. So I'm going to click on the render button, and you'll see there's a progress meter over here on the right side of the render queue giving you a status of how that project is rendering. So what this is doing, this is going to convert the video file that I've given into the XPression video codec. So while this is rendering, I'm going to go over into XPression and get myself set up to work with this file. Okay, we're in XPression now, and I've got a blank project here. I'm going to go ahead, and you can see I also have no material, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to right click in the material manager, and I'm going to add new video. And the file that I created was called universal counting leader.avi. So I'm going to double click on that, and that'll add that in as a material. And before I actually go to use it, I'm going to right click, I'm going to choose edit, I'm going to choose the video layer, and I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to turn on auto start, and I'm going to make sure that my video source for the alpha channel is where I need it to be. Right now it's pre-multiplied because I really don't have one. When I click on OK, that sets the properties for it. Next thing we'll do is I'm going to add a quad to my scene, and I'm going to double click on my new material to add that in. What you can see right away is I now have that video playing as a source. So that tells me that I've put it in and it's working perfectly. If I was doing this for use with XPression clips. Instead, I probably would have put this into the encoder manager, or I would have found it and used the import tool that's inside the video capture section. So that's how I bring in a video file that came into me from QuickTime and put it into XPression.